We've got a new trailer for a new Marvel show. In this video, I'm going to be talking about Secret Invasion, which is coming later this year. But as always, I'm Al, this is the Geek in Review, so let's get to it. So, very loosely based on the comic book Secret Invasion that happened after the Civil War arc, and I do mean very loosely based, I'm not going to get into it here. This show has been delayed, but is now coming towards the end of June this year. And there's a lot going on since we've last seen Nick Fury in the MCU, so what has he been up to and what's going on in this show? So, if you remember, Nick's been in space, but he's back and there's a lot of trouble with the Skrulls on Earth. You know, they pretend to be him and Spider-Man and running about doing God knows what, let's be honest. Last time that we did see Nick, other than Tony's funeral, was when he was in space in Spider-Man Far From Home, but we didn't really get any information on what he was up to, so hopefully this show is going to fill in some blanks. But anyway, while he's been away, the Skrulls on Earth have been having a few problems. It seems that they're having a bit of an argument in the leadership between Talos, who again was introduced in Captain Marvel and has popped up in a few Marvel properties since, Gravik, who seems to be the leader of the Skrull Resistance, and in the trailer, in the opening scenes, we see him blowing up a bomb and it appears to be Moscow, and it might not even be him, it could just be another Skrull pretending to be him, because you know, they're all shapeshifters and stuff. And that's part of the comic book run fun, is you're trying to work out who a Skrull is, so I hope this translates into the show, and it does seem that it's going to be happening, because Nick Fury seems to be going on his own in this. He's not recruiting the Avengers or anyone else really outside of the sort of S.H.I.E.L.D. characters like Maria Hill and Everett Scott, who do pop up in this as well. And Nick also seems to be on the run. Rhodey mentions that he's the most wanted person on Earth. Probably likely that the Skrulls have framed him for an attack, or at least some sort of crime as well. And Talos says in the trailer that things have gotten worse since Nick's left. So what he means by this is Fury promised to find them a new planet or a new home somewhere, and that was decades ago. Captain Marvel was set in the 90s and he's still not done it, so he's got a lot of promises that he hasn't lived up to, and he's sort of been exploiting these guys in the whole spy game, because you've got to remember that's how he was introduced in Marvel at the end of the day, so he's not been living up to his end of the deal. So this leads to the Skrull Resistance, as I mentioned, led by Gravik, doing, well, a secret invasion, attacking Russia, threatening Talos, and it seems that they might kill him, or at least try and kill him as well. There's a few scenes of an attack on a convoy, and then you see Ben Mendelsohn, who plays Talos, sort of in his human form, but the Skrull bits are creeping through as if he's been injured. And it looks as if he's next to a vehicle as well, so he might die in this attack or in this show. And even though the show's about aliens, as far as we know, it's primarily going to be set on Earth. So I think this is going to be much more grounded than the MCU shows that we've got recently, such as Moon Knight and Loki. Think more Winter Soldier, though, than Captain Marvel as well. Like I said, there's no indication that we're going to go into space on this. And because it's a grounded Earth show, we're getting grounded Earth characters coming back. I mentioned Rhodey a moment ago, and he's in this too. And he's going to have a huge arc in the next phase of MCU with Armor Wars and all that stuff. But that's for another video, so subscribe to make sure you don't miss it. And is it me, or is Rhodey dressed more like a politician than a soldier in this scene? In fact, in a few scenes. And I hope that's what they're doing with him, because they are going to get some characters involved in politics in Marvel. You know, you've got Harrison Ford coming as President Ross in the next Captain America film. So if Rhodey decides to get into politics, I like that. Yeah, I hope that's something that they develop going forward. They could certainly take that in a few places, especially if he's a Skrull. Think about it. Anyway, who else is in it? So there's a lot of British actors and actresses in this. We get Olivia Colman as Nick's UK counterpart Sonia, who seems to be an old friend, and she's a relation to one of the Howling Commandos, going all the way back to Captain America as well. But it seems that she's going to be both working with and against Nick. So what's her end goal going to be? And I've got to ask the question, is she a Skrull? We also get a bunch of other familiar faces. Everett Ross from Black Panther, who's now on the run after the events of, well, the last Black Panther film. And Maria Hill, who we know all the way going back to the Avengers. But when you think about it, Maria Hill could have always been a Skrull. There never could have been a Maria Hill. I think that's kind of interesting, and that's a theory that's floating about online. Yeah, either of these two people could be a Skrull, or anyone popping up could be a Skrull. That's part of the fun, and I'm sure that's part of the fun that people are going to have online watching the show. But someone who we know is a Skrull is Game of Thrones Emilia Clarke playing Gia or Gia. People are going to pronounce that differently until we hear it, let's be honest. And we found out that her character has already been in the Marvel Universe for quite a while. She's Talos' daughter, who again was featured in Captain America, but as a little girl. So she's all grown up primarily, I guess, on Earth. So she's probably going to have quite an interesting take on human culture and human society, and be a bit more pro-human than, say, the people that are trying to kill us and replace us. She's exposing the group of rebel Skrulls. We see her discover a bunch of people in captivity. These are probably the humans that have been replaced, or at least it kind of looks that way. But we don't get much of her here in the trailers or any of the other stuff. And yeah, as I said, it seems to be a very earthbound show. We do see a lot of places, the UK, Russia, New York, I think London as well. So it's going to be all over the place. So I'd say it's going to be more Jason Bourne globetrotting than 007. But I really like the look of this show, and I like that it does feel more grounded. We've not had that in the MCU in, well, forever. I can't remember the last grounded thing that we got. Probably the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. So what do you think? Let me know in the comments below. Really interested in is, where is this going to go after 2-ish years of the multiverse? How is this going to fit into the MCU? Are they even going to acknowledge any multiverse events that we've seen? I don't know. But yeah, where's it going to fit in, and what's it going to set up, more importantly, going forward for the MCU? Is this going to be a one and done, or is it going to be ongoing story threads that, you know, could creep into the other more grounded stuff that we're going to get, like Armor Wars? I'm not too sure about that. We'll need to wait and see what they do with Rhodey. From what I heard, the Armor Wars story is pretty packed. But I'll be interested to see what they do with the Skrulls, because obviously there's quite a few possibilities and roads that they could go down. But these are just some of my opinions and thoughts. As always, I want to hear what you think, so let me know in the comments below. Or you can follow me on Twitter at The Geeks Reviews. As always, my name's Al. Thanks for watching, and if you've made it this far, like and subscribe.